I like the grab that you make here. Instead, I would have went to the portal instead of trying to 1v1 or 2v2 the defense. I mean, it works, and if you feel confident that you get out, then do it. But if you see me, I use the portal, boost out. You have to be more patient with the bomb, especially when they're respawning. At this point, I want to stall the bomb and wait until the respawn player goes away so I can get a better chance at the grab. Alright, so pay attention to yourself respawning. They have the grab, you should have stayed 3D and made sure you guys get the reset. It leads to a cap. Your cue that you should have stayed back should have been that Panda and Easy are sandwiched, and that Sonder and Someday have like sort of a grab. You just always want to make sure that you guys keep the reset and that they're supporting your defenders. While I'm on regrab and I see Easy in mid, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do once he dies. So exactly what you do is exactly what I would do. It's way better than sitting on a boost because it minimizes the risk of getting returned. And that was pretty well played. So going back at this play, I'm hoping that you see Sonder on the top side and in the Someday on the bottom side. So I know that Sonder, once I have the flex, Sonder's gonna come from the top. Another thing to point out is that if you can't actually see Sonder and Someday in the mid, you should get off free at least like 1 or like 2 tiles to see exactly where they are. Right here is when I have a few cues that I look at before taking the portal. So one is the direction that Sonder's coming from. If he's rushing you from like the left side but not rushing the top, you can bait the portal and go top. But if he comes at you top instead, then do what you do and take the portal, but also be aware that the Someday was last seen bottom side, so he might actually still be there. And then as you see, he's not there. But what I probably would have done is went to the top mid boost to use that for like a capping chance. And then instead of having yourself die at the gate area, I would have definitely went back. In this play it didn't really matter since we had a clean read, but if you really want to extend your hold and get yourself more opportunities, just try to hold it and go back. Okay, so in game, I know I actually gave you the wrong comm on this, but something I feel like you should be aware of is that you can bait the boost like you're gonna go left, and then instead go a different direction. And then when you do it super quickly, it'll be super efficient. You can end up capping off that. I'm super glad right here you were aware enough to play anti because we had a rolling read, and then it led us to a cap. This was a great position play by you, covering the boost and the open lane. Okay, so in this situation, it's obvious that there's two threats: the open lane on the left side of your ball and the boost to your right. So I want to close in the open gap while also being aware that he can go for the boost. I think as long as you're aware of both, it's hard to mess it up. The optimal positioning for this is pushing like 1 or 2 tiles to the left and then going back right and then reacting to what the FC does. I know you capped off this one and it was a good play. However, I want to note that whenever you see this kind of position in game where like one of our players is going on anti, which is me in this play, and then 2 like around you, you want to go for a cap in this situation. The big reason being is that if our chasers get the return and I'm on anti while the regrab is on flag tile, I get the easy return and then it becomes a 2v1 situation, and then usually it ends up being a cap. So every time I see this situation is exactly when I want to push for a cap. I also want to point out that every time like this situation happens, you want to make sure you call it out so your chasers know the situation. I think this is something important to look at. Even though I don't actually get out, look at the way I'm playing with the portals. Every time you're in like a situation where the opponents are like covering you in their base, you want to mess with the portals as much as you can, and then eventually you can get out. This is another situation where you try to go for like jukes instead of hiding in the portal. I mean, luckily I'm there to sit on the portals and get out, but you can't really trust your teammates in other situations to do that. I'm not mad with this attempt of capping, but just always be aware that they might be playing anti if you do go for that cap. I have to say you did a very good job in helping our defense and being that support player for me and like for the rest of the team. You did well on pups, you did well with staying back when you needed to for the most part, and just keep it up. Even if you didn't feel like you did like so much, you did really have a big part in the outcome that we had. So just keep that in mind. Everything you do does not go unnoticed.